I know it's all quiet, ain't it? Yep, sure is. Quiet day. It's Tuesday. Yep, that's right. Tuesday stands for today. Tuesday, anyhow. But anyhow, I see Mr. Toronto Man is there. I wanted to talk about this, okay? During my live stream there the other day, with Warren, the people in the chat made a suggestion that any man technically could be TFL in today's society just because of the fact that the war isn't against women. It never has been against women. It's always been against men, which is correct. So, I see Mr. Toronto wants in here. You want me to add you to this live stream? Is that what you're asking? And so, with that being said, the topic today that I would like to talk about is, can any man be TFL in today's society? Because he's got a woman or had women in his life. So that's really what I wanted to get into a little bit today. But yeah, I can add you. Just give me a moment. I have to make sure to answer it. But I'll add you. I just got to get to my thing here. Oh, well, hell. It's hiding from me. There it is. Okay, you have an invite coming your way. With that being said, so that's the topic I want to talk about today. Is
Hey there, Bill. I'm here.
I hear you there. You might want to mute the sound on the live stream since you're
Yeah.
in it. Okay. That way,
Um.
that way we don't have feedback from you listening to it on your side.
Yep. Great. Great title for the video. I like that. That's a good title. Can anybody be TFL? Love that
Well,
title.
that is what I want to talk a little bit about because that was a valid, very valid point that a couple of people brought up today, and not TFL. That though they do feel that anybody can be TFL in today's society, for the simple fact the war is against men, not women.
Yes.
And that
Um.
part I would agree with, and I would also agree with this. Even if you got a woman in your life, that doesn't spell happiness. Because today's society, people don't know how to treat each other. You could have a woman in your life and be married and never be having sex or anything and unhappy, miserable because of the way you're treating each other. Nothing but drama, drama, drama. And so when
Yeah,
I,
that's true. That would also contribute to why the divorce rates are high. A lot of married men are not getting any sex, any companionship. That would contribute to why there's like a high divorce rate in North America.
well, when I look at it, unfortunately, sex has been pushed to the front of the line, and so many people don't realize that all of the orders of what it takes to have a relationship, what it takes to be successful in a relationship and have a lifetime with one another, with your opposite gender. Everything that's the foundation that creates that to happen and leads to real love has been twisted, flipped around, and totally out of order. Sex has always been at the last of the list, always. Until
Yes, that's true.
up until all this ass backwards stuff started going on. Now in today's society, everybody thinks love is sex, and sex has
Oh,
been pushed to the front of the line, and it shouldn't be.
yeah, but see, with MGTOW, they always promote that you're gonna get more fulfillment with a female if you're single than being a married man. So
Well, unfortunately, that's because society is twisted and backwards because everything's been flipped upside down on its head. Unfortunately, the majority of big town, I hate to say this, but it's the truth. the majority of MGTOW or TFL is in denial.
Oh, for sure.
Okay.
Uh, Going back on the title, Can Anybody Be TFL? Um, yesterday, I was waiting for the bus yesterday, and I saw all these. I saw about three or four Indian women from India, and I knew, and they were all by themselves. They weren't talking to anybody. They were just being quote unquote asexual. And I was like, I mean, after I was like, I started to like study. I mean, I understand that, I don't care if any like a non-white female doesn't want to talk to me. That's okay by my standards. But then I saw two Indian guys that looked well dressed, and even the Indian girls didn't even talk to them. Can you believe that? I'm like,
Yeah, well, but sometimes you can't necessarily judge what you see when you're getting on a bus or a train because even though these gals were together, for all we know, they got family and they've got big family here in the U.S. And they got off that bus, they went out and did stuff together, and they got guys that are out working and they go home and they have boyfriends or husbands. We don't know because we don't know them personally. So,
I mean, they
you
look like the typical millennial asexual females. I mean, like I said before, like I think asexualism is like global. I don't like. Well. Then again, I'm in Toronto, which is like an asexual capital of the world. Where it's hard to make friends here. Nobody really likes to communicate with each other. It's like, how do you say?
well, that
Yeah.
right there, what you're talking about, is not just in Toronto. That is all over the world right now. I mean, at the time I did my radio show, there was one point the radio show became pretty big, and I had lots of callers every day. And now, if I was to start up a radio show again, even 6 months or a year in it, you'll be lucky to get a caller here and there because nobody wants to come up and speak out no more. And on top of that, people ain't communicating no more. Technology, they say technology is greater than ever and is connected as all. The connecting is all so great because of technology, but it's actually the opposite. It's disconnected as it's not connected as because now, rather than call somebody and talk to them on the phone, you're texting them. Now, rather than hooking up or meeting, you're texting each other. Or you're on the computer and you're taking shortcuts in what you're typing to each other. Okay,
Yeah.
people, the breakdown of our communication is what you're witnessing. So, no, people
Yeah.
don't know how to meet each other. People don't know how to treat each other.
Yeah, that's true. Because well, even in text messages, people can't even spell. People have to use abbreviations.
Well, my
And,
spelling sucks, but that
well,
but that has nothing to do with my trade skills or how I
that's
am in life. I mean, I got lots of trade skills and I could probably do lots of things very professionally that a lot of people can't even do.
that's true. I believe that too. I mean, I don't really judge a person's character by how they look. As it's more like how they perform. It's like people like same like with me. I've because of my speech disorder, I've been turned down on so many jobs you wouldn't even
Well,
believe it.
unfortunately, no, I would believe you because Heather has a speech disorder. She walks into an interview, the minute she opens her mouth, it's pretty much over.
Well,
And that's a female, even. Don't get me wrong, but I've witnessed it with my own eyes. I've seen it, okay? And the
mm,
reality is this: you being a man, you're gonna even get it worse, okay? But I've watched her and I've seen it where job after job after job, interview after interview after interview after interview, they hired somebody else because she opened her mouth. Okay, that's all it was. It's based on the fact she opened her mouth and she has a speech impediment and slow. so it's used against her immediately.
Well, well, I mean, every safe workplace I've ever been to has been all female dominated. So it's
Well,
like,
yeah, but see, now I'm not trying to be. I agree with what you're saying. The majority nowadays are female dominated, but not all, but the majority. And that still don't change the fact that I've watched physically with my own eyes taking her job looking because she don't have a license. And where I live, you're going to be driving everywhere you go because the majority of all jobs are out of town. And
mm,
because I have literally run her from job to job to job and watched her apply it place after place after place after place and get interview after interview after interview and never get hired and never get hired and never get hired. I know what's going on. It is
yeah,
because of her speech impediment. See, her gender didn't guarantee her a job. And if people think that's true, that's a myth. That's not true at all. Because I've witnessed it with my own eyes.
I mean, have had the privilege of working with, females that has some sort of disability too. But I mean, as for like speech disorder, I haven't came across any, like, I don't know if this is just me or anything, but like everywhere, like in Canada, I've never like encountered a female with a speech disorder. So
Well, I'm not saying it. Well, but that's, the reality is it would only take you 2 minutes of hearing Heather talk and you would understand real quick. See, I recognize the fact that you have a speech disorder, okay, and I would never, ever in a billion years use that against you. That's not your fault, okay? And Heather, if you was to talk to Heather, you would realize real quick you're talking to a female with a speech disorder just like you.
yeah, but the thing is with Heather though, she wouldn't be called every vulgar word in the book that I've been called because of it.
No, no. See, the difference there is going to be the fact of her gender. They just won't tell her or won't hire her, but she's not going to be made fun of or cut down or called names like. She's not going to be like you. I mean, the difference between you and her is like day and night because of the fact of your gender. Because we're in a world that male shames and male bashes and male shames and male bashes and puts females up on a pedestal and covers up. But the thing is, like I brought up, can anyone be TFL in today's society? Because the war is against men, not women. Okay? And I know how it is to be with somebody in today's society. Believe me, I know. Okay? And then the fact is, yes, anybody could be TFL. Because you're married does not make you not necessarily not TFL. Because actually, you could be worse off being married to somebody or with somebody than you could to be alone.
Yeah, like I said before, like the divorce rates are kind of high in North America. Um, it, there's like I'm sure you've heard of this guy, Jeff Bezos,
Yep.
Amazon guy, Amazon
Yes, I know
Jeff.
who you're talking about. Yep.
He got divorced. He cheated on his wife, and she ended up taking half his earnings. But
But you know what frustrates me about that? What you hear 90% of all reports of cheating is always the man. Okay? But I can tell you for factual truth, there's more women cheating than men. And anytime a man's cheating, it took a woman to be involved because he wasn't cheating with his hand. Okay, so there was always a woman involved. Now, sometimes maybe the woman didn't know he was married, true. But at the same token, no, we're not. You got terrible timing. Okay, so at the same token, you know, the woman has more opportunity to cheat than the majority of the guys because, see, she's being hit on all the time.
oh yeah, that's true. Females will even tell you. if you ever get like too close to a female, they'll even tell you that it's like impossible for them not to get hit on. You want to have guy after guy simping for your girlfriend. Like as sad as that. I mean that tells you how sad things have became after years of feminism and all that shit.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if you know, but back in Europe, back in the like before feminism destroyed the world, white men could pay, could order, could buy white females to marry from the government back in the good old days before feminism, and that actually proved to be effective. The birth rate went up for white European countries and stuff like that. It actually, but now because of feminism, he's now the female has to take her pick, and it's causing the TFL issue to grow bigger and stronger. Are you busy there? Or?
Yeah, I'm trying to get her off my ass. I spoke her name and her ears are ringing. And now she's bothering me in the middle of this live stream. So I just told her I'm in the middle of a live stream. I can't talk to you right now. She's at work and she's texting me. That's who tried to call me.
Oh, is that your wife?
Yes, that's who that
I
is.
thought you said she was having issues
What's
with
that?
I thought you said that she was having issues with employment.
She had issues for a long time. And it's not 100% across the board. You may walk into an employer one day where they recognize the disability and they don't discriminate, but that's hard to find.
Oh yeah, like a lot of workplaces say that they're an equal employer. I don't know if you've came across that.
Well, they all say it because they have to by law, but they don't fucking practice it.
That's true. That's what I've experienced as well.
They don't practice it, okay? So the reality is what it is. But, you know, I figured I wanted to talk about this topic for a while because in today's society, can anyone be TFL? I would say, yeah, of the male gender. Finding a true TFL female, well, in all the years I've been doing this, I've only found one.
I'm uh well based on my experience, like I used to live in I used to live in like a small towns, and yeah, you will come across unattractive white females in these small towns that I've been in. Um, for the most part, if you're a TFL guy like I am, and you have a species where you're going to get hit on by probably unattractive females, but that's if you're lucky. Uh,
Yeah, you'd have to be lucky. I mean, the reality is gender roles is part of the reason. That's just only one little bitty part of the reason. Gender roles have set it up so that the man does the approaching. It's not 100% across the board, but in the majority of cases, the man is expected to approach and oppress and everything. And the female, all she merely had to do was just put on some clothes and go out and be herself. She did not do anything.
oh,
The man's the one that's expected to change, not the woman. The woman don't have to change a thing about herself, but the man's expected to do all the changing about himself. But see,
oh,
that's
that's true.
but that's one of
So,
the fuck. That's one of the big screw up fuck ups in the dating arena to begin with. Because first off, you are supposed to like somebody for who they are, not who you want them to be. Nobody should change for nobody. If you change, it's because you choose to change for yourself, not for somebody else.
that's true. Like social media is also proof of that too. A lot of females you would, a lot of average to ugly females are taking selfies, getting getting 50 likes. All these comments from simps. and the unattractive females are either they're doing the selfie game too, but they're either are doing this for to promote a company, and they it's I don't know if you've came across that too.
Oh well, nothing's 100% across the board, so you're going to come across stuff that's happening, but it don't apply to everybody. But when it comes to what we're talking about on the gender issue, you have a war that's been perpetrated against the men. And you keep telling everybody in the media that the war is against the women. So you keep flipping it upside down on its head and lying. Okay, lying to the world when all you have to do is open your eyes and look around you. It's always been clearly against men. When's the last time we saw 30 years of female shaming all over the media?
Ooh, that's a good one there. Um, if you ask any feminist white females, they'll say the 1970s was the era of misogyny.
That's a crock a load of shit. Do you
Um,
want some bullshit? You just got fed. Okay, so I'm sorry. Yeah, but in the 70s it was. Hold on. The last time I looked, I was alive in the 70s and very aware of what was going on around me. And that's a crock of shit. There ain't no truth to that. You're misogynist right now in 2019 if you speak up against a female. Even if you're correct about the wrong she's doing, you're not speaking about the whole race, the whole freaking female gender. I've told people before when I speak against the female gender or the male gender, it's not every single male and it's not every single woman. I'm calling out the behavior of this individual or this particular behavior that's going on in that gender, but I never called a name and I never ever said it was every last female on the face of this earth, no more than I did a man. But the minute you point out the wrong of a female at all, here comes all these pussy wannabe, I wish there was a man, vaginas to the rescue to say, how dare you? It'd be like what Jerry done. You know, the first time you actually seen a true TFL video by me, behind the scenes, he comes at me on Zoom here and types me and tells me I have mental issues and that I'm a woman hater at this time in my life and that I need to go seek mental help.
wow, I mean that's a guy in a wheelchair. Wow.
Yes, that's because he's an agina. He's a
Oh,
simp. He's
oh,
not fighting the corruption. He's playing selective. He went through the truth buffet line, picked out what truth he wants to talk about, and he let his ego swell up, and he's an egomaniac. You know,
I
he even
checked.
told me, he even went as far as telling me, well, when you talk this way, you're going to scare all the women off. And I said, that's right. I'm going to scare all the corruption off because the real woman will understand what I'm saying and won't be against me for telling the truth. But a piece of parasite crap that's falling for the brainwashing, going around shitting on everybody, yeah, they'll run from me because they don't want a real man. They want a pussy like Jerry.
Yeah, like I've checked his YouTube channel. He was like for like ego, like you like his views were very low. I mean I wouldn't expect him to have like for someone with ego boost like he has, like as you claim he does, he would
I
have.
ain't no claiming about it. I know he does. He demonstrated it. The problem was is he wasn't running. He was always a little bit of ego in him, but he went egomaniac after he got a viral video off of 153.
Yeah, that's true. Like
That is when his head swelled up, and I seen a big change in him. Within a couple months from that viral video, there was a gigantic change right in my face in Jerry's behavior, and it was all ego related.
yeah, like I never understood like who like there was a female that was in the TFL, like they used to come onto your TFL live streams. I don't know
That
how
that
she got involved.
that was Jessica. That's the only female I ever met in my life that was actually TFL.
No, not her.
I talked to her for
No,
hours on the phone. Got
not
to
her.
know her on a
Not her.
personal level.
Not her.
Okay, and I'm
Yeah,
telling you right now, The
Go.
hours I spent on the phone with her and knowing her on a personal level, she was living TFL.
Um, I'm talking about the one that was had like an Australian accent.
The other one was fraudulent. That was no, you
I
know.
heard like how did she get onto the TFL live streams again? I forget. Like
Well, she called in. That was Blog Talk. She called in the call-in number for Blog Talk Radio. That's how she came on there.
but but isn't your like audience like male dominated? Like doesn't really make.
Well, I don't stop women from calling in. I
I
would
know, no,
love,
no,
I would love to
I'm
bring
just,
the genders back together again.
I know, but it just sounds kind of awkward, like females don't live TFL. They've never lived. They
The
don't know what it's
majority,
like.
I would agree with you on that. That is correct, but it doesn't mean that you don't got an occasion female that couldn't live TFL. To say that that's impossible for a female to live TFL would be saying it's impossible for a man to live TFL. Okay, I understand what you're saying though, so don't get me wrong. Okay, because the reality is, if I was to put numbers on it, 99.9% of men will live TFL. Out of the women, 99.9% of women will never live TFL.
That's true.
But it
Uh,
doesn't mean you don't got a female every now and again that would be put in a situation where she's constantly rejected. Okay, and I know that's what happened with Jessica. Okay, now unfortunately, there's not a lot we can do about it because the reality is through years of social engineering, okay, and our behaviors and the way we act and treat one another, you think about it. There are a lot of men out here, she could have been going out and looking at the guy she was attracted to, right? And she totally turned all of them off and they just turned away. She could have been chasing after the bad boy who has lots of options back in the day, right?
mm-hmm.
Okay, and he's got lots of options. He's not going to take her. He's going to take the one he's attracted to because everybody's going off that lust and people ain't getting a try
Okay.
to know each other.
Yeah. I see you. I see you from that angle. I can see it. Like the 80-20 rule or the 90-10. I could see it like that. Like it doesn't matter how ugly she is. She can, if she wants the bad boy, she'll go after the bad boy.
Well, the thing is like anybody else, people want to fit in, okay?
That's
And
true.
you got to put yourself in the female shoes, okay? You got to put yourself in her shoes. She gets approached all the time unless, right? She's morbidly ugly and morbidly obese, then she don't get approached all the time. And then but she will still get approached, right? But let's just say she's going to try to fit in with all the other females around her. She's chasing the same type of guy. Well, them guys already have options. See what I'm saying? And they're
Mm-hmm.
going to pick somebody else over her every time.
Well, from what I'm seeing, a lot of men, like the MGTOW men, they brag about the pump and dump. So
which
like
is which is wrong. That's one of
yeah,
the reasons
yeah.
you destroyed
Listen,
MGTOW.
yes, but now who becomes the victims of these pump and dumps?
The
It's gonna
female.
well, they brag about the unattractive female, the
Yeah.
big fat female, the female with a fucked up face, the female with acne.
Oh yeah,
Like
I understand what you're saying, okay? And you're correct about what you're saying. The problem is, pump and dump, where that originally came from was infiltration. See, people need to understand that men going their own way was a threat to the powers to be. Or not men, women going their own way. Because if enough women walked away from men back in the day when it first came out, that could cause an awakening. They didn't want to take the chance that it could cause an awakening on the female gender side, okay, because the men walked away. And men, if they really took it seriously and walked away, that could have caused awakening. So why do you think mainstream media had MGTOW? Why do you think it went live mainstream media MGTOW? It went on mainstream media because they wanted to destroy it. Now
that's true.
TFL is as real as it gets. TFL will never make mainstream media, and if it makes mainstream media, you're going to be lumped in with the incels as dangerous to society.
That's true. Because like I watched some CNN, like CNN did some interviews with some big budget MGTOW content creators on YouTube, and they I was shocked. They were taught. It sounded like they were speaking like when CNN came to interview them, they were on CNN side, saying, "Oh, it's about marriage and divorce and all that crap."
I
Which
don't listen to anything on CNN, ABC, CBS, Fox, NBC, MSNBC.
exactly,
If it's
but
mainstream, I wouldn't even listen to an alternative media because it's owned and run by the same entity. Okay?
that's true.
So the
But,
reality,
but
the reality is this. If it's coming across media, it's going to be deception, it's not going to be truth. If you want the real truth to what's really going on in the dating arena, it comes from TFL. It don't even come from MGTOW because the majority of them are fraudulent, fakes, and liars and deceivers.
that's true. Now, the big problem with like a mainstream media is like they'll hear truth and they'll either cut it out or edit to some non-truths.
Yeah.
Like MGTOW was supposed to be about men going their own way. Was supposed to be it was supposed to be like after you get burnt from marriage, you could go your own way and
Well,
all that.
the real Mig Toller is the guy like Peter Nolan. Okay, guys like this. Why do I say that? Because these are guys that have been in relationships and been taken to the cleaner, okay, and treated like dirt. So them are your real mid-tollers. I told people before that I wouldn't care if TFLers wanted to call themselves mid-toller and walk away, because all they're doing is getting shit on and dumped on and treated like dirt and never allowed to have a female in their life anyhow. But to be treated like dirt is also what happens when you get into a relationship in today's society. Because see, the problem is this: we spent years placing the opposite gender above us, turning our back to their wrongs, covering up for their wrongs, and making double standards favoring them. Okay? If you want to create a psychopath or a narcissist, all you got to do is pamper somebody, spoil them, cover up for all their wrongs, turn their back to their wrongs, create double standards. Congratulations. You have just created a nut job because they grow up with self entitlement issues. If I look, I'll give you an example. The example is this: we take the rich people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the rich people have children. The rich people who spoil and pamper their children, right?
Mm-hmm.
The boy gets just as spoiled and pampered and privileged as the girl does by wealthy rich people, okay? So the
Mm-hmm.
boy comes out with self entitlement issues when he grows up and becomes a narcissist psychopath like the females are. But unfortunately, that's only up at the upper echelon, right? Okay? Now, as you move down from wealth to the average Joe like you and I, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then the epidemic of psychopaths or self entitlement is going to be the majority will be women. Not that there isn't a lower tier guy like you and I that isn't a psychopath, because there is. But the majority of narcissists, self entitled people in the lower tier are females, not men.
Well, with rich men, from what I've gathered, is they have no respect for poor people or like well, I should say poor men, I mean, like less fortunate people. They really don't. Well, let's just say less fortunate men, because cause based on my observations, is the word like they look down on if you don't have enough money to like if you're not wearing like the top brand clothes, or you're not top brand clothes, or you don't have any, or you don't have a job, you're pretty much looked down upon by rich men.
Well, but see, that's because of the way society is set up. Going up the hierarchy, they are moving up the pyramid, success. Success is being based on materialistic items and wealth, okay, which is nothing more than all man created shit, okay? And people look down on people all the time because everybody wants to have this ego trip that they're better and above somebody else based on man made materials, okay? So money is man created. Everything
Hmm.
is man created. So if you have more of something than somebody else, then you're looking down on somebody like you're somehow much smarter, better, and everything than they are. And in reality, all you did was become a complete piece of shit, a parasite. You're not better than
Oh,
nobody. Now you're below
okay.
them as far as I'm concerned, because I don't give a shit if you're a multi-billionaire. Okay? When you allow that to swell your head up, the low guy that ain't got no money at all is well above you.
That's true. Um, it's just that, with rich men, they can, like it's been proven, like on dating sites, a lot of females, regardless of financial background, will request a man has X amount of dollars a year, and
Well, you know what I request for her then? I request that every man turn their head and walk the other way and don't give her the time of day. She don't deserve a man in her life. She deserves to be alone. She deserves to live TFL.
that's true. That would I mean I live in the most hypergamous part of the country where I'm at, and every dating site, X amount of dollars. They even put it on their profiles as like I slap to the. It's like a slap to the face if you're a guy like me.
Well, the majority of dating sites are a scam anyhow. They're
That's
set up. They're
true.
set up for the female, and there ain't too many females that use. There are females that use dating sites, but the majority don't because they don't have to.
That's true. I don't know if you ever heard of this female. She should speak for MGTOW. Well, she did, but her name was Nula Girl 504. I don't know if you heard of her.
No.
She made like these MGTOW, like she was a female, but she made like she was like a MGTOW supporter or something to that effect. And wow, you would be so shocked and surprised how many simps, how many MGTOWs simped for this female, and she
Uh,
was
that
married to a black
that
guy.
that would not surprise me. I wouldn't be shocked about that at all. Not at all.
Yeah,
Okay, because you have so many men that they can have someone in their life and they still want somebody else because their brain's stuck on sex. This is where sex has destroyed society. Then you have a gigantic number of men that can't even get a woman in their life. And because we're in a world that's designed everything on competition against one another, it's all competitive. There's men out here that'll purposely hit on your woman behind your back and try to get into her pants. And when I asked him, like, I know a guy that did this regularly, right? And I told him,
mhm.
you're playing with your life. One day you're going to get your head blown off. And he just looked at me and says, well, and I says, then why are you hitting on married people to begin with? And he says, why not? And I says, because you're going to end up dead one day. He says, I doubt it. Then he says to me, and why wouldn't I? He says, if I can get into your woman's pants, I'm a better man than you. Then I says to him, oh, is that why you do it? And he says, yeah. I says, cool. So you mean when you got a bullet in your fucking head, that makes you a better man than me, huh? Yeah, I says, so being a low life scumbag and destroying other people's lives makes you a better man, huh? He got pissed when he said that and walked away.
Oh, that's true. That's like the majority of men though that would say that. I mean, probably like half of them.
Yep, and this is
Live.
real life face to face this took place. You know, and I don't fucking discriminate straight up. Okay? I get very offended by this crap. I was working on a job, a company called Maintainer, and we build commercial trucks there, okay? And I'm working there in the install department, doing all the wiring, assembling the bodies, and loading them onto the chassis and hooking them up and everything. So anyhow, there was a gal right next to me. Now this is a female. I used to admire her. I didn't know her, and I knew she was married. It had nothing to do with her being married and had kids, right? It was the
Hmm.
fact that she was a female climbing up on these big old loot trucks, turning wrenches and lifting heavy stuff and turning wrenches and getting all greasy and dirty all shift long every day. And she was really good at what she done. She could compete to any man when it came to mechanics and all that stuff. She was really good, right? I admired her for that because she was a female doing this job, right?
Hmm.
And she had her toolbox in the shop and everything. Well, then when she was gone for about a week and a half, almost 2 weeks, and I asked what happened. They said, well, her husband had killed himself. And I thought, really? And then she comes back and she places a picture of her husband and her together with the kids on the toolbox. Then it came out. You know what happened?
What?
She was cheating on her husband with the boss of the shop. Now she was going
Oh,
to divorce her husband and leave him and take his kids from him to be with the boss of the shop.
oh, well,
I
I,
then I lost respect for her immediately. All respect was gone.
I mean, like there are married females that could be a housewife that would choose to make money. You know, it's because, like you said before, like our world's upside down.
Well,
Uh,
our world is upside down. Everything is. Everything's been turned inside out. You know, today's generation of young men think that this stuff is normal behavior and society's always been this way. And there's absolutely no truth to that at all.
yeah, like I used to work with I used to work in a workplace that was female dominated too, and this may this may blow your mind, but there was a low percentage of married females in the workplace. There was a low percentage of married
Well, you're going to
females.
see more and more of that going on because females are walking away from getting married and men are walking away from women. And men are only wanting to use women, and women are only wanting to use men because everything's been completely destroyed. It's exactly what the plan was all along, NWO. That's where all
Mm.
this comes from. You know, and I don't care what people tell me. I've done my homework and I know what's going on around me and I see it with my eyes. And it's all social engineering. It's all been deliberately done. It is divide and conquer. And these people who holler, I'm a conspiracy theorist in 2019 are complete dumbasses.
That's true. I mean, I've even like I said, like I used to work in a workplace that was female dominated, and I even one of the female workers, as I remember, said to me, she doesn't want to have any kids. She doesn't want to be in any. And she was like pretty much a wigtail, a woman going her own way, no kids, no male companion, just work, work, work.
Well, you do have women like that. Some of these women are career women. They'll go out there and they got
Well, it's
themselves a good career, and they're not interested in being in a relationship. They're interested in moving up the hierarchy.
yeah, but I find that kind of counterproductive. I don't know about you, but that's kind of
Well, unfortunately, our society has been set up to be set up for self destruction, and people don't even know what care is anymore. I mean, getting into a relationship in today's time is chances are it's not going to work out. I understand why men and women would get together, but I also understand the chances of it working out are very slim because everything has been flipped upside down on its head, everything. And it's become self-centered selfishness. It's lies. Media helps it along. Come on, you got to have game. So, and all game is lying and manipulating, putting on an act, being a fake, being a fraud. Okay? So you have to be a skilled con artist, a skilled liar, a fake, a fraud to get a date in your life. And she's going to be a fraud and a fake like you are. And then you're not even going to be real with each other. You're not even going to be honest with yourself. And then you can't figure out why it's not working out, huh?
yeah. That's well, game. I've never. Well, I never used game myself. I never, as you said, like I have like a speech disorder, so a
Well, that
game.
even that's so with your speech disorder, you don't use game and you be yourself. I respect you, okay? Because the reality is this. I've got a son who I raised. I have an ex-wife I was with for a lot of years. Okay, I've had a couple of girlfriends in my life, couple three since that time, and I got a wife now. Okay, never, ever, ever one time in my life that I ever play game. I never had that game to get a woman in my life.
Nice. But as I'm saying, like I've never, like I don't think even thugs use game. I just think it's just show and tell.
Yeah,
Where
well, it
these,
is. People fucking so screwed up. You know, the woman wants the guy that's successful so she can show off the guy that's successful. The guy wants the woman that's a number 10 or a number 9 so he can walk down the street with her arms to show her off. It's like little kids going in the classroom in first grade and saying, show and tell. It's a
yeah,
freaking joke.
that's that's true though. It's happening as we speak.
Oh yeah, it is. It is. You know, but back to the name of the video of the live stream. Can anyone beat TFL? I would have to say in today's society, yes, because when it comes to a man, because the reality is the war of the genders has been perpetrated against the men, not the women. And the women are trying to shout out loud that they're the victim when they've never been the victim. Okay, let's get real. How many times have you seen a guy drop to his knees and ask her for marriage?
Ooh, yeah. There's been viral videos of that on the internet. If you go on the YouTube search engine, you'll find a whole bunch of that.
That's right. Now, let's think about this for one moment. If you're dropping to your knees to ask this woman in hand for marriage, so she's the one that's being oppressed, huh? Bullshit.
That's
So
true.
the one that's being oppressed is the one that's standing up, and the one that's the villain, the monster, the perpetrator is on his knees. You talk about completely ass backwards.
It's true though. I've seen videos of that in Africa, Asia, America. I think Canada. It's pretty sad and demoralizing. These men, look like they've have a lot of money in the bank account, and they
Well,
get rejected like that.
well, yeah, because well, the reality is, see, the woman can go out there and earn her own money, and she gets. You put yourself back in the woman's shoes for a moment, okay? When she gets hit on all the time, which she does, pretty soon that gets to be old. And if she gets a man in her life and she really likes who she's with, she's still getting hit on. And these guys won't take no for an answer. No, they keep hitting on her. Even if she says, I'm already married, or I've already got a boyfriend, I'm engaged, or I'm in love with the guy I'm with, they don't care. They still keep hitting on her. Okay? Then you would wonder why women would start to get angry with men. Then at the same time that that's going on, you got women out here that are using men for their wants and throwing them away, right? And so,
Mhm.
and then you got women out here, we already know this 1 to 5 seconds, she already knows she don't want to know you. Okay? And this happens over and over to men. So, and you get in a relationship with a woman who's lying to you and using all the words. Because women are notorious for this. They will lie, manipulate, and twist and con to make you believe and say everything you want to hear. Everything you want to hear. So that you believe she loves you. You believe she's there for you. And as soon as she's got you committed to her, the real her shows up. And that real her is going to treat you lower than a piece of shit. That real her loves her fucking dog on the leash as she's walking outside to go to the bathroom more than she loves you. Because she don't love you. She used the words to get her wants. And as soon as she's through using you, you're the hamburger, okay, inside the wrapper. As soon as
Yes.
she's through using you, she crumbles the wrapper, which is you, up and throws you away.
I mean, I've seen those videos, and the men that want to be married and they get rejected. They get some of them get hit. They get smacked across the
Well, of
face. They
course they
get
do, because he's been taught for years. So, I mean, when I was a kid, even my own son, that many years later, was taught the same thing by the school system. Boys do not hit girls. I mean, you heard Obama say it with Joe Biden. There's absolutely no excuse to ever lay your hands on a woman, right?
oh, that's true. Well, I'm not in America. I'm in
I under,
Canada.
I understand that, but let's think about that mentality for a moment. You know what you done? What you really done is said there is no excuse to ever put your hands on a woman, so a woman could put her hands on you all she wants. And in America, you might have nowadays, 10 years ago, you had no such thing as a men's shelters for domestic violence. If a man said the woman was beating on him, he was laughed and mocked and called names and made fun of that his woman was beating him up, right? But if he struck back, he was a monster, a perpetrator, and he had to go right to jail. Okay? But if the woman hit, oh, there's nothing wrong with that. You must have done something to deserve it.
Well, um, like with police officers who have to investigate domestic violence cases before, they're more lenient towards the female gender, but from what I'm seeing, like on YouTube, there's videos of females being put in cuffs now. So I guess there's a big,
It
I
would
guess,
depend. It would actually depend on the arrest of the officer who shows up. If he's in the Gina, the guy's going to jail. If she
oh,
uh,
that's true.
if she openly admits I hate him, I mean, I'll tell you a situation that actually happened. I was with some really close friends of mine, and we went to one of their friends' house that I also knew, right, for a cookout. And the names, I'm just going to give the first names. The guy's name was Riley, and the female's name was, okay, Maria. Okay? Well, we were at their house. Them two got into an argument. She hauled off and slapped him right across the face in front of everybody. He hauled off and slapped her back. She ran in the house and called the police. When the cops showed up, we're standing there, and the cops asked what took them to the side. One cop with her, one cop to him, right? And the cop that was with her said, "So what happened?" She said she didn't lie. She stayed honest. We got into blah blah blah, which is what happened, right? And I slapped him, she said, and then he slapped me back. And then Riley told the same story. Guess what happened? They both got handcuffed and put into two different squad cars. Why? Because she hit him and he hit her back.
Oh, it's yeah, that can same thing with in Canada. I mean, you're supposed to be, if somebody hits you, you're supposed to play dead. It's it's stupid how laws work here.
Well, the laws are wrote to entrap you. They want everybody in the system. The United States has more laws. I guarantee you, there ain't one law-abiding citizen in the country of the United States at all. I know you can say you've never been arrested and you're a law-abiding citizen. And I'm going to guarantee you are not a law-abiding citizen, and I'll guarantee it. Because there's been that many laws wrote. It's impossible for you not to break a law. Impossible. Because there's that many laws wrote.
That's true. Well, like I said, like USA has a high prison population than Canada.
Well, the USA has the most people locked up than anywhere on the face of the earth. But you
That's
got to
well,
hurry up and get to the land of the free, right?
yeah, but Russia is also it's not that good either. Russia has a high population too.
Yeah,
Russia,
but the point is, it's all a big fucking Ponzi scam. Because also this is about enslaving you. It's about entrapping you. It's about divide and conquer. And the dating arena is messed up from this right here, from our society, from the people we allow to run it. We allow a bunch of psychopathic, sick in the head, twisted screwballs to tell us what to do, and we don't even stand up for ourselves at all. We just bend over and get out the lube and say, Yes, sirree, and that's what we do.
Oh well, like when it comes to feminist females saying men can't hit women, I've heard that as young as 7. I mean, I've heard. I remember. I was 7 years old and it was snowing, and you know how kids play like you know how kids go on their snow sleds and go down those hills and
Oh
stuff
yeah.
like that. Well, I remember what we used to do as kids is we used to like chuck we used to push kids down like there'd be like a I don't know how to explain it, but you know, like I remember getting pushed down the snow hill by a female, and I would then go back up the snow hill, and I would push her down the snow hill, and anyway, one of those there was a day where it was a I pushed a female down the snow hill, and her mother came out, and she said, "Boys don't hit girls. I'm calling the police." And I'm as young as 7 years old, and this was like the norm for kids back then. You know, going down the snow hill and people push you down the snow hill, and you go. If it's supposed to be like a fun game, and then but you gotta say I was as young as 7 years old, and this feminist mother came out saying, "Boys don't hit girls. You're going. I'm calling the police."
Oh
But
yeah. I believe that. I believe that. See, that comes from once again all the bullshit that's been pushed. Okay, first off, when you're born a boy and you go to school, you're sexually discriminated against by the school system and by the system right off the bat. Because when they tell you you're to never touch a girl, put your hands on a girl, instead of telling you that nobody hits nobody, instead of leaving gender out of it, nobody hits nobody, we teach you that boys don't never touch a girl, and we leave the door wide open for the girl to hit the boy. Now, here I am sitting out in a lawn chair with a guy that was like my brother Irvin, and every day around 2:35 in the afternoon, a school bus pulled up outside my door, just short of my house where I lived, and let middle school, which would be junior high kids, off the bus, right? Well, this one day, we're sitting outside, smoking cigarettes, talking, and the bus pulled up like it always does that time of day. And the kids got out, and here's this girl screaming at this boy, and this boy screaming back. And we're sitting in the chairs watching the two of them fighting each other, right? When the girl hauled off and punched the boy square in the face with a closed fist, broke the top lip open and bloodied his nose. So he had a bloody lip and a bloody nose in one shot. She got a really good hit on him, right? He
Mhm,
hauled off and hit her back, and she sidestepped his hit. So she was actually smarter than he was about fighting. So he only grazed her, right? About the
mhm,
time that happened, two adult women come running across the street that were watching the same thing we was, and they were screaming at the top of their lungs at that boy while he's bleeding from his nose and his lip. She's not bleeding or anything, and they're screaming and cussing him out. You don't never put your hands on a girl. And he says, she punched me, and he's got blood all over his face, running out his lip and his nose. And those two women said, we don't give a shit what she done to you. So there's your mentality right there. You know, we don't care how bad she messes you up. You're not allowed to defend yourself. She can stab you with a knife and kill you, and you better let it happen. That's basically the mentality.
oh yeah, for sure. I mean, same thing with on Canada Day. I was at like a Chinese buffet, an all you can eat buffet. It was free for Canadians on Canada Day. Anyway, I was in line, and you know how when you're in line, there's like empty space you can walk in to, you, you know how there's like empty space to walk into, like, and then people would excuse that as butting in. Well, I saw like a big, like a empty space to move up the line to the restaurant, and this Arabic female says to me, "I don't like you standing there." And I said, "Why?" And she's like, "I don't like you sitting there. I'm calling. If you don't go, I'm going to call the police." And then I said, "Well, I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything." And she's like, "I don't, I don't." It sounds stupid. I'm sorry, but it just sounds retarded that females would use the police as an excuse to eliminate the problem when there isn't a problem.
Well, that's typical behavior in today's society. Look at the fact that in New York, on the subways, they have signs up that says it's illegal, okay, for man spreading, male spreading. In other words, you're sitting on a fucking train, a subway train, in a bench seat or whatever, and if you spread your legs out even just a little bit, well, that's illegal. You're going to be fined for that.
That's retarded. It's
Okay, so that's like, okay, so then why don't we have a law for women spreading then, huh? Oh, that's right, because it's a war against men, not women.
Well, in New York City, I mean, it's pretty much liberal. It's very feminized. Um,
Right, it's
there's
very one sided, I know.
yeah, if people can actually take a shit in New York City and not be fined for that. You know, I'm not even kidding. You can take a shit on the street in New York City. You can and not be fined for that. You There's other stupid things that go on in New York. I'm trying to name them. Um, yeah, it's just. I mean, New York is is it's like Toronto, but it's like very divided. You know, very well. I don't know if you can compare anything to Toronto, but like with big cities is they go they are geared towards one gender, and that's the female gender.
Well, yeah, but unfortunately, it's just not the big city, it's all over the place. It's an epidemic, it's a virus, okay, and it's literally everywhere. I understand the city you're living in is really bad. I don't disagree with what you're saying at all. But if you was to have the opportunity to travel from city to city or town to town in your country, and then go from city to city, town to town in the U.S., and stay a fucking week in each place and be on the streets all day observing the behavior, you're going to find out it's not just in Toronto, it's everywhere.
Well, yeah, you're right there, but you're in a small town, right?
I
So,
bet I haven't always been in a small town. I'm in a small town now, but no, no, no. I lived in Florida for a lot of years.
for sure, Florida. Yeah, I've seen videos. Yeah, I can understand. Yeah, small towns. Yeah, they really hate white men down. Oh boy. Yeah,
Okay, and the
I've
town I was in Florida wasn't a small town either. Okay, believe me. I mean, I'm telling you, when I'm in Florida, even in Newport Richie, I'll tell you what, it's town after town hooked together by, like US 19, for example. I can drive from one town to the next town and not even know that I ever left town. Okay,
yeah,
and it might take me 40 minutes to drive 2 miles.
that's true. I
Okay?
think
Because the traffic, the population, the amount of people. And if you get out there and really observe what's going on, you'll find out everything you're talking about here is happening everywhere. It's not just here, it's the behavior from the mindset from social engineering.
yeah, but you're also like you're married too, right? That's kind of like a plus on your side.
Well, I don't call that a plus anymore. I mean, what's the plus? I put up with a lot of drama. I come real close to telling her to get the hell out of my life. That's a plus, huh?
Oh, well, you told her. Okay, I like I've had there's been times where your wife has caused you.
Oh, all kinds of stuff has gone on. Nonsense stuff, complete bullshit stuff on a regular basis. I've literally almost put her out the freaking door 4 times. She's like walking on thin ice.
Yeah, she has. I mean, I would expect. Well, again, like I said before, like I never had a female companion, so I wouldn't understand. But
But
like
this, I
from
understand.
my
I understand where you're coming from. When I tell people being in a relationship is not what they think, you know, a lot of TFLers, I understand them. They've never been in a relationship. You even got TFLers that think if somebody's had a female in their life or a relationship, that they're not TFL. That's a crock of shit. If I shot you in the back and you became paralyzed for life, paralyzed for life in a wheelchair, all I got to tell you is after you healed, you're not paralyzed. You're an idiot. Well, that's the same thing these people tell TFLers because they might have got a woman in their life. But because they've never had a woman in their life, they don't understand what it's like to be with somebody in today's society. You get that woman in your life and discover that every day there's going to be drama. And the drama is going to be instigated by her. And it's going to be over childish little fucking BS stuff. And you won't get out of it. It don't matter what you do. You can bend over backwards and kiss her behind and do everything she says, and there's still going to be drama. You're still going to be at fault. If you went to your work and you were working all day and she spent the fucking money out of the bank account and overdrafted the account while behind your back, right?
Mhm.
Guess what? It's your fault. That's right. It can't be her fault. It's your fault. By default, almost everything's your fault because you have a penis between your legs.
I mean, I could like. Is there is there a reason why you decided to get married again? Or, like you could
Oh,
have
well,
just.
no, that's a whole long story. I won't even go to here. I explained why I wound up married, looking out for somebody because my big heart, right? Caring about people. I explained that on the video that I made the other day that's got my wife's mother's picture on it.
Oh, her. Oh, yeah, yeah. I've seen that video.
Well, I done told you why I married on that video.
I got you. Okay. No, no. You just that like with like men nowadays, like a lot of them that are getting divorced or like saying that's my first and last marriage I remember getting into.
I don't blame guys for saying that. I really don't. Because the reality is it doesn't matter. The point is this: nobody knows how to treat one another. Okay, really, they don't. And you get into a relationship with females anymore who've been placed on a pedestal their whole life. Either they're slow, it doesn't matter, because the reality is they've been placed on a pedestal their whole life, and everything's been handed to them pretty much, and all the double standards and everything that's gone on for so long, these the majority, not all female, of course, but there's a high number of females that are very toxic, and you're not going to know they're toxic after you're already with them
Yeah, that's true.
because they're going to put on their best act, their fake face.
I know, like getting into a debate with an ugly female and she calls you ugly.
Well, but see, I want to say this, the guy that was my brother for years, he was heavy set. He wasn't morbidly obese, but he was overweight, right? Him and I were closest. I mean, I love the hell out of this guy. Him and I were brothers, okay? And he had a wife that was morbidly obese. And every girl he ever dated before that was always heavy set, even heavier than him, right?
Mhm.
And he was attracted to heavy set, morbidly obese women, okay? And he would always say to girls that ain't obese, girls that are skinny or, blah, blah, blah in shape, right? He's
Mhm.
called them toothpicks, twigs. He wants the meat on his bones. He don't want anything to do with a damn twig, okay? See, the beauty or what somebody's attracted to is in the eyes of the beholder. And when
Mhm.
you start judging somebody's attraction to your own attraction, you're the idiot because you cannot compare somebody else's attraction to yours. We all are our own individual human being. What you might find attractive yourself, I may not. Do you understand what I'm saying? And
Oh
what
yeah,
I find attractive, you may not find attractive. This is just a reality. It's a fact of life. But
yeah, like
because of social engineering and all of our media and the fashion and the modeling and everything, people's got this bad habit, especially online, okay, especially on the internet, of judging other people. They don't want to be judged themselves, but they're going to judge somebody else. Or they think that you got to think with their brain. You better feel the same way about this topic that they do, or they're angry, or they're mad. And it's complete hogwash. When I said I wanted the sexes to be equal, I was talking about equal as far as laws and rights. Okay? And then if a woman wants to try a man's job, let her. Okay? Because I don't look at her as above me because she's female, and I don't look at myself as above her because I'm a man. Okay? We're all human beings, right? So
mm-hmm.
I want people to be equal instead of playing on the differences between men and women because, yes, there's differences. But when you start putting your mind on the differences, then you wind up discriminating against the person because of their differences, okay? So,
Well, it's
but,
akin to like, would that be also be the same as a female not wanting to date younger guys? Would that
well,
also?
see, that still goes back into the eyes of the beholder. A female don't want to date younger men. That's her prerogative. Just like if you don't want to date a younger female or want to date a older female or whatever you decide, right? That is your right and your prerogative. Nobody has the right to take that away from you.
I
And
guess. But,
okay, and it goes that way across the board. You have to give the same female the same respect and the same right that way. So when I
yeah,
talk
but
about equal rights, this is the type of stuff I'm talking about, right? And
yeah,
so
but
when I said equal in Jerry's eyes, he wanted to bring up the goddamn Kabit over there in fucking Israel and show every building looks exactly the same with the same layout. Everybody wears the same shirt. Everybody wears the same pants. Everybody's equal across the board because they have to have all the same stuff. No, I never said that. Jerry said that.
okay.
Do you see what I'm saying? That was Jerry saying that, not me. That's not what I'm talking about. That's what he turned it into.
No, but what I'm trying to say is that for like you said it's the perspective of the beholder that if like
And the
every
eye in the
female
eyes of the
I've
beholder,
encountered
yes.
has said that to me. I don't want to date younger guys.
Well, you're gonna run into that. Sometimes they might be telling you the truth, and other times they might be lying to you. You know, I don't want to say which way, but you have everybody okay because you know what you're attracted to and not attracted to, right?
Yeah, but
Okay.
it's just that it becomes it hurts, because you got to wait 10 more years or
I
20 more.
understand that, but here's the reality. There's too much emphasis put on looks in society. Way too much emphasis are put on looks. Okay,
Mhm.
because looks doesn't recognize love. Looks hides evil. Okay, that's the reality. I'm not saying you don't need some attraction. Okay, I'm saying, but there's too much emphasis put on it. Okay, because you put too much emphasis on it, attention to it, you might be looking for that number 8, that number 9, or that number 10, right?
Mhm.
Or she might be looking for that successful 8, 9 Chad, right?
Mhm.
But unfortunately, that doesn't find real love. Because real love comes from two people becoming friends. When they say a male and female can't be just friends, that's a complete line of shit. Because you have to become friends to find real love. You have to
Well,
become friends to have a relationship that will ever be
yeah,
successful.
but that's also ties into the 1 to 5 seconds.
Well, that's
Um,
because they don't know what they're doing. In one to
I,
five seconds, already says she judged you by you didn't have a Rolex watch on, you wasn't driving a Porsche, or she went by your looks, your height, or something about you, right? That's
yes.
all that can ever be. which means she don't know what the fuck she's doing to begin with.
Yeah, but that's pretty much every female I've encountered.
Well, how would you encounter anything different? Our society, this didn't start overnight. This didn't
Yes.
start 10 years ago. This didn't start 20 years ago. This started a long time ago. So by the time you were born and you grew up, the problem was already big. Do you understand that? So
Mm-hmm.
many people have been brainwashed. How would you find anything different? See what I'm saying? That's not your
Yeah.
fault. You can't be blamed for that. You didn't do this. Do you understand what I'm saying? And
Yes.
nobody can hold you accountable for it because you did not do this. This was started long before you even thought in your mom's head. See what I'm saying? Or your dad's head. That's how long ago this shit started. And now you're looking at the results of what's been going on for decades because it's baby step social engineering from decade to decade to decade to decade, progressively getting worse because we're changing. It's brainwashing, is what it is. You're changing the perception of people. You're taking their belief systems, manipulating them, and twisting them, and you're denying people natural human needs.
Yeah. Like it goes back to that to those zeitgeist videos, where they
Yes,
said that the
that's why I
that
told people to watch the first hour and a half. If nothing else, the first hour and a half of Zeitgeist 2019, pay freaking attention to what they're telling you. They told you the God's honest truth right in your face. And if you don't pay attention, then you don't pick up on the message. You see what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying. Okay, bro, I'm going to have to cut this short. It was nice talking to you. If you want to do this again sometime, just let me know, in an email, okay?
Oh, yeah, that's no problem.
Okay, bye,
Okay.
Bill.
Yeah, bye. Well, hello, Angel. I see you sitting there, Angel. It's nice to have you around. See you're still around. you know. But I done this live stream basically to talk about the name I gave it. Okay, can any man be TFL? I'm going to say yes to that. Okay, TFL is not something that you could say that no man can be. The war has been perpetuated against men, not women. The majority of men have no say so whatsoever. So unless you're that big Chad, 6 foot tall Chad that's got a big bank account that some woman's chasing after, then she'll just be using him for her want. So then what's he? He's just a piece of what? Just being used? Yeah, that's what we have going on in society. Any man can be TFL. And even if he's married, it doesn't mean he's not TFL. Once the damage from TFL has been done, it don't just go away. Because you meet a woman isn't the magical cure. It doesn't make the years of abuse and rejected and being denied a human need just go away. You know, yeah, I understand what you're saying, but I'm adding one step to it because the reality is this, Angel. You've been TFL for a long time now. You know that, and I know that, right? So if you think for one moment that you meet a woman and get a woman in your life, that's gonna take away the damage that's already been done to you, no, it's not. That damage is still gonna be there. And even if you're a guy that's had women in your life, think about it this way. The majority of TFLers nowadays don't even realize how lucky they have it. Because the guys that aren't TFLers are going through living hell. They're being treated lower than dirt. They're being stepped on, walked on. They're being used and lied to. Okay? And the majority of relationships look around you. They don't last. It's nothing but drama, nothing but fighting, and it's nothing but usury. So what kind of relationship is that, really? And that is the majority. That's not no small number. I'm talking the majority of all married men, of all relationships of men and women together. This is what's going on. The majority of all of them, they're very unhappy. They go out on the public and they both put on fake faces. They put on fake smiles for the public. So don't talk about what's going on behind closed doors. And as soon as they get behind closed doors, out comes the drama. Out comes the behavior. It's very, very toxic. That's the society we're living in. This is what men are going through that do have women. So could they be married and be TFL? Yes, they can be. I would say there's very few successful relationships at all. The majority of people don't know what they're doing. They don't know how to treat each other. They haven't the first clue of how to treat each other. Well, Angel, I don't blame you. How could you? Because everything's been based on manipulation and lies. So even the Angel, how could you? You couldn't. How could you take it seriously? It's just not possible. Because there's too much lying and games and manipulation and self-centered, selfish want, not caring about anybody else but your own self going on. Well, you're better off not to get depressed anymore. Look at the upside of it, Angel. I know it's very unfair. It's not right. Having a companion in your life and being felt to fit in, being loved and being wanted is a human need. But we're being denied our human needs because of social engineering and a psychopathic world filled full of people who don't give a flying F about anybody else. And then when somebody comes along that actually really cares about somebody else, like myself, and tries to fight for what's right for all of us, you get attacked and you get put down and you get attacked and you get put down because you're not thinking with your high mind brain in the jar. Oh no, Steve Hulk is just fine. I just talked to Steve, the day yesterday or the day before? That was Sunday. I talked to Steve for probably about over an hour on Sunday. Steve is doing just fine. Steve has his own personal life. He's a busy man. Okay? People don't understand that. He don't know people to come up here. He sees the fraudulent shit on the internet. And I don't blame him because it is. And what kind of encouragement would Steve have to keep coming up here and doing stuff when he's busy taking care of himself and his mother and his own life and his own jobs and what he's doing? And then when he does come up here and do something for somebody, it's no different than, okay, VBS over there. Very, very stupid or very, very asleep. The guy, when he didn't have no subs and he opened his channel, he was constantly on Steve's YouTube live streams, typing in the chat, wanted in. Steve brought him in. Now here he is months later, year, 2 years later, down the road, right? Now he's got subs, right? Now Steve's a nobody. Now he just throws Steve right in front of the bus or under the bus. And he sees nothing wrong with his behavior. I've never even talked to the guy once, and he's throwing me under the bus. So there you go. Then why do you want to help people who want to shit on you for helping them? Well, Angel, did you hear what the leader of the men's rights movement, Karen Stroud, said, right? You do know about that, right? Well, hello?
Hey, Bill. How you doing? It's Dave.
Hey, good. How's you doing, Dave?
Yeah, not too bad. I just got a few minutes here. I just saw that was watching a little bit of your video. I noticed the title, and I just wanted to touch a little bit about my dad. And I think he's I think he's going to be on the verge of becoming TFL pretty soon. And unfortunately, he's going to learn a pretty hard, cruel fact of life. Um, his girlfriend, he's been living with his girlfriend now for the past 15 years, and he moved in there after he sold his house. He got a pretty good chunk of change when he sold his house, and he moved in there. And when he moved in there, shortly afterwards, he started sinking all kinds of money in home improvement projects, home additions, kitchen makeovers, all kinds of landscaping projects, things like that.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway, she's going to be selling the house, and the house is all in her name. I mean, this house is completely hers. And when she sells it, she's going to be, of course, she's going to take all the money, and he's going to be out the door, and with nothing to show for it.
Yeah.
And that money he made in that home sale, that was pretty much his life savings, and
Yep.
and
And
that's just
and she'll just steal it all away from him with no thought, no care.
exactly. My dad's he's just been too generous his whole life. I mean, he's a great guy. He did 32 years in the Boston Fire Department, so he spent 32 years saving people's lives, and it just hurts to see me that this is how he's going to end up. And I mean, he still does have his pension from the fire department, but
Yeah.
I mean, he's legally blind, because he's got macular degeneration, and so it's basically me and my sister are going to be the ones kind of taking care of him pretty soon.
That's so sad.
Yeah.
And it really is so sad. But Dave, I don't think we could be surprised by it because the mentality is, the mentality of our society. Nobody cares about nobody. You know,
Right.
And I myself, I mean, if you watch that video I did towards the last video I done towards my wife's mother, and you listen closely, you hear me tell people exactly why I got married to her.
Yeah.
Because I got a big heart. And I
Right.
seen what was going on. And it was about getting her out of that situation. Stopping that witch, okay? But in return, what do I receive? What I receive is lots of drama, no appreciation, okay? And the mother continuously attacking me.
Right. Yeah. Unfortunately, that's become the trend. The people with the most kind-hearted people get treated the worst in today's society.
Yeah.
It's disgusting.
And I feel sad about it, but at the same time, I don't because it's like Angel. If you see Angel in the chat. Angel's been around for years. You know that. You know who Angel is.
Yep.
Okay? He's been around for years and he's still living TFL, and at least he's not as stressed out as he used to be. Okay? But I gave the name of the live stream, can anyone be TFL? And when I look at men in general, I'm going to say yes, any man can become TFL. Any man. It doesn't matter if
Yeah.
they've had women in their life because they just gave you a prime example of what happens nowadays when you have women in your life. Your life is
Yep.
living hell.
Yep. And I could see this coming from a mile away, and me and my sister would always be talking about this. And sooner or later, she's going to sell that house, and she's going to move in with her daughter. Ultimately, that money is going to go to her daughter. And my dad sunk about $150,000 in her house.
Right.
With all these home improvement projects. When he moved in there, her house was valued at about $300,000. When she sells it, she's going to get $600,000 for it, because it's just when you do home improvement projects like that, plus over time, it just accumulates in value big time. And with the prices of real estate, anybody that's familiar with Massachusetts, I mean, the real estate prices are out of control, just insane around here.
Yeah. So it's so sad when I see going on and I watch around me, and it annoys the hell out of me because, I try to get it through people's heads how it's all related to our social engineering and NWO, and people don't want to see that and the behaviors. I feel sorry for people like Angel and people. There's so many men living TFL, so many men, and if they would just be honest with it, because when I look on the internet, you know what I really see? The most honest, people on the internet are TFL men. Are people who are TFL. You're not
Yeah.
getting
I
it.
mean, I
You're
know.
not getting it from Mikto. You don't see honesty over there.
Right.
You don't see
See it
honesty
on.
from Incel.
Yeah. Same thing offline too. You know, I know so many people outside. You know, out in the real world. You know, whether it's my job or just other friends of mine. But yeah, I got so many friends that are that are living TFL now, and yeah, like you said, they're usually the ones that are the most honest, most decent people, most straight laced people that society has to offer.
And they are. And so, Wolf Martin, hey, I appreciated you saying that. I really did. Because it is correct. Any man could be TFL. In today's society, that's a reality. The war is perpetuated against men, not women. The lie is that it's being done, that the war is on women. That is the lie.
Mm,
That's why I tell people
right.
to show me the last 30 years of female bashing. Please, come on, show me where you've seen female bashing in your media for 30 years straight. You haven't, have you? Of course.
Yeah, you're gonna have to look. You're gonna have to look long and hard for that, Bill.
Yeah, and good luck in finding it, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, because you ain't gonna find it.
Well, no, you don't. People don't understand. I still got a big heart, and I care, and I don't hate women. I hate corruption. I hate what our society has done to all of us. That's what really I think
Right.
fires me up the most because whether people know it or not, men and women alike are victims. Okay, it's just we're victims on two different levels. You got the primary victim, which is men, and the secondary victim, which is women.
Hmm.
Okay, and
Yeah.
people just don't understand that. If you could just get them to open their eyes, but I don't know how to do that. I try and try and try. But it's
Yeah.
Dave, you're lucky in a lot of ways. Even though you went through a life of hell getting where you're at right now, you know, to where you're strong and your mindset's there. And then you're looking at your dad, what's happening to your dad, and you're seeing the results of what it is to be with somebody.
Hmm.
Now,
Yeah.
then you realize yourself, man, maybe you were luckier than you thought, huh?
Yeah. I mean, because like my dad. I mean, my dad's never been TFL in his life, but I mean, he's gonna be. He's gonna be very soon, and because he was married. My parents, they got divorced 20 years ago, and they were married for about 30, I think 32 years, something like that.
Yes.
And as soon as they got divorced, he started dating this woman um, that he's currently with, and she is just basically she basically persuaded him into selling the place because he didn't know much on the mortgage when right after the divorce, and she knew if he sold the place, he would get a good chunk of money in his pocket going out the door. So she had him sell the place, and then she had him move in with her, and that's when she just said, "Oh, let's do this to my," just had him doing all kinds of work on her house,
Oh yeah,
and
fixed up her house,
it
her
is,
house, her house, and now she's
yeah,
ready to throw him away, and he has nothing to show for all of his work.
right. And not only that, but he also gave her daughter $20,000 to bail her out of a failing daycare business.
Yeah.
So I mean, he has done nothing but he's been they've just treated him like a pinata, not a human ATM machine, Bill, a pinata stuffed with money. And every time they want money, they just take out that stick
Just
and
take
just
out
start
that
whipping
stick
his
and
ass.
start in him. Yep.
Yeah, and just
That's
start beating that money out of him.
that is so sad. But you know what, Dave? That
Yeah,
is the reality. That's happened to so many men. I can go back
yeah,
to when I was like 16 or 17 years old, and I've always remembered this because I knew the guy. His name was Rick Timberland. Okay, the guy was married for 22, 23 years. She stayed home woman who stayed home and raised the kids, right? He's the one
uh-huh,
that bought the house, brought all the income in for all them years. She never worked. She meets another guy behind his back where she's at work. She divorces him and uses the court system and took the house, took all the furniture, took two of the three vehicles, took everything except for the clothes on his back and his own personal tools.
mm-hmm,
So what did he get?
yeah,
You know, what did he get out of 22, 23 years of marriage? What he got
Yeah,
was
he got.
nothing. Everything went to
Yep.
her. And she didn't work for
Yep.
any
He
of
got
it.
it. Yep. He got a door slammed in his face.
Yeah.
That's what he got, Bill.
He even got the reality call of alimony. He now had to pay
Yeah.
her out of his money.
Right.
She not only took everything, he's now paying her for the rest of her life because it's alimony. See, child
Yeah.
support stops, but alimony never stops.
Right. Right. Yeah. I guess that's that's definitely one plus side that I'm, with the situation I'm in, I don't have to worry about alimony or child support. And thank God for that.
It is. So this is why, even Heather would love to have a kid. My health is bad and I'm not going to be here much more longer, right? And she thinks that I'm going to freaking have a kid with her. That ain't happening.
Yeah. Right. It's. Yeah, it's you get to a certain point in life. I mean, it's just I see even people that are in their 40s, and it's just too old to start raising kids. I think, yeah, I couldn't imagine doing it. I'm 49 years old. I couldn't imagine start being a parent right now
Oh, no.
at this point in my
I mean,
life.
I'm 58
Uh,
years old and I got emphysema. I've had a heart attack and quadruple bypass. Okay. I got a disc that's blowing out in the lower half of my back. The last 2 nights I lay here with my legs throbbing and my feet on fire and can't sleep. Okay. I don't wish the health that I have on anybody, but the fact is my days are numbered and I'm not going to be here no more. And here she is trying to get a damn kid out of me. Ain't going to happen.
yeah. Well, I'm just praying for your health. I hope your health gets a little, gets improves. And
Well, I
I know
did
it's
get me a. I did order a bottle of a natural herb that I was turned on to by Nicholas over in Germany that his mother's used for 10 years, and she has chronic arthritis. And she started taking the doctors couldn't do anything for her, and she was in bad pain. And she's up in age. And a friend of hers told her about it, and she started trying it. And within freaking 3 days or so of being on this pill, suddenly the pain was gone from the arthritis.
well,
And she hasn't had no pain from the arthritis in a little over 10 years now. And I looked into it, and there's a bunch of reviews on it. Okay, there's absolutely a bunch of reviews on it. And so
mhm,
I decided to go ahead and order a bottle, and I'm going to give it a shot.
right,
Because
yeah,
I figured this way, if I give it a shot and it works, I would be happy to have my legs not throbbing at night. I would be
yeah. I
happy,
mean, whatever.
for my
Yeah,
chest not to be hurting.
yeah. I mean, give it a try, and if it works, great. I mean, that's unfortunately, the stuff that they give you at the doctors that they prescribe to you. I mean, they're only making matters worse.
Oh,
It
it
seems
is.
like
It is.
they're just, you know,
And I think we got
like
Pete. I think I got Pete here with me as well, Dave. Say hello to Pete.
okay.
Uh oh, Pete, you ain't got no sound. Have you got your mic on? He's in here, but I don't hear him.
Yeah. But yeah. Anyway, I mean, some of these medications that these doctors are prescribing, I mean, they're actually doing the opposite. I actually lost a guy, an old friend of mine a few years ago. He was on a heart medication and he had an adverse reaction to it, and he actually dropped dead of a heart attack or a stroke or something like that at the age of 40, in his mid 40s.
Wow.
After taking this medication. So these medications that that these doctors are prescribing, I mean, these things are yeah, I mean, these things can be scary.
Yeah, and to Pete right there, I would suggest hanging up and I'll re-add you because you got no audio for whatever reason. Make sure your cam's plugged in, which I'm sure it is because you're here, but for whatever reason you ain't got no audio. Now I'm going to re-add him and see if he gets an audio now. He was red when I pushed it, so maybe the phone calls were stuck on the other one. I don't know.
Hmm.
Give him a second to come back in here. He said hi to you, and then of course you didn't hear him.
Oh no, I'm actually on my cell phone right now. Yeah, yeah. Hi Pete, how you doing?
He's been following TFL for a long time. He's a TFLer himself, and he's like you and I and Olga. He's got some age on him,
Mm-hmm.
and he knows what it is to
Right.
live it. He's been living it for years, and
Oh, he's the guy you do the live streams with, right?
no, no, not at all. That's Peter Nolan.
Oh,
That's Peter Nolan. This is
okay.
another Pete. Okay,
Oh, okay.
it's not the same guy.
Oh, okay. I see.
I just got on Zoom yesterday, and I would like to bring him in here. Okay, okay. If you're still listening, Pete, if you're on your laptop, reboot it. That's a software glitch. It happened once before to actually twice to the guy over in Australia. No, we're not having a phone call right now. Okay, that took care of that problem. So to Pete, reboot. If you're on your laptop, reboot it. Once it's rebooted, come back in again. I'll call you back. Let me know you're here, and I'll add you back. Then your audio will probably be working. Every now and again, you get a software glitch. See, he's on a computer. You're on your phone.
Right.
So he don't have the call-in information like you have. And to Angel over there,
Mm-hmm.
if you ever want to be part of a live stream, I don't know if you still have my email or not, but I can give you the email. Okay? And then you can email me and I'll send you the information, and you can call in on your phone if you ever want to be part of it, okay? Because Angel's been around a long time. And and the thing is
Mm-hmm.
reality is reality. In today's society, the war is against men. And I have no respect for men who want to bend down and be vaginas and be pussies and not own up to the truth. Because if it's too personal for you to talk about, you're only complicit with the problem and helping it go on.
Yeah, most men in this country have let themselves be brainwashed, and they've almost become self-hating,
Yeah.
and yeah, it's a shame. But
Okay,
yeah, is Pete still?
that email address, Angel, is the email address you want to use. Drop me a line at that email saying, hey, this is Angel, and I'll send you the same information that Dave has here, and then you can use your phone to call in sometime. The same with Wolf Martin. If you want to take that email and use it, drop me a line and I'll give you the information. You know, but no, Dave, I really appreciate you coming in for just a few minutes because it helps.
Oh yeah, yeah, no, yeah, yeah. It's been a little while since I've chatted with you, Bill. But hope everything is well. I know you're planning on moving pretty soon. When's that move coming up anyway?
The move, I'll be leaving this place the 31st. Okay,
Okay.
I'll be packed up. This place will be empty, and on the 31st, we'll empty it. And on the 1st of the month, I'm out of here, and I'll go back to
Okay.
Iowa, back to my hometown, and then
Yeah.
but I should be back online by the 3rd or 4th. I've got it set up to
Yeah.
get the
All right.
internet
Cool.
back up on the 3rd. So, if everything works out, I'll
Yeah.
be back up on the 3rd or 4th. So I won't be down long.
Well, yeah. Well, I wish you all the best with that move, Bill. But I'm gonna get going, Bill. I got to run some errands here. So, but I'll be in touch with you in the near future. Okay, Bill.
Oh yeah, no problem. Thank you, Dave.
All right. Take care, Bill. Okay.
Yep, you too.
All right. Bye bye.
Yep. Okay, so Pete, did you reboot the desktop? Am I from the Quad Cities? No, I'm from about 40 miles away from the Quad Cities. I know right where you're talking about. I've been in the Quad Cities a bunch of times. I grew up 40 miles away from the Quad Cities, right off the Mississippi. Angel, that's actually a good idea. Put your focus on yourself. If Pete, if you want me to try to add you again, I will. But you got an audio issue. That's the reason nobody could hear you. That's the reason I told you to reboot. I'll see if I can't add you again, okay? Puppy's off right now. He's probably rebooting. Because most of the time, that's what causes this issue. It's a software glitch. That's computers. That's our new technology. You get software glitches. Oh, yeah, Dwayne's alive. Wasn't long ago he was over here trolling me. I think he has a few jealousy issues going on, and he should get over his jealousy issues and become honest and real with himself is what he should do. Because Steve Hoker or myself don't hate him. He's the one holding himself back. He's right now, Dwayne's his own worst enemy. Yes, he's alive. You know, Dwayne did a lot of good work, and Dwayne was a really good speaker. And Dwayne is still living TFL guaranteed. Just too bad he wouldn't pull himself back together again. Well, Steve Hulk is still around. I'd love to see Dwayne come back around and start talking TFL and be honest and be real. But I can't do that for Dwayne. Dwayne has to want that. Coming over and trolling me gets him nowhere. Because he can't affect me any. And he's not going to be able to affect me any. The only person Dwayne Holloway's hurting is Dwayne Holloway. And I can't help it that Dwayne can't see that. He don't need enemies. He's his own worst enemy. When you're your own enemy, you sure don't need enemies. He needs to get over that. He really does. Because he would have people that support him if he would support them in return. Then he could actually have real friends and a real, somebody to talk to. But when you can't support the people who already like you, don't expect them to support you. Because you have to support them in return. Yeah, it's not right, but in a lot of ways, Angel, in today's society, you're better off. Because you don't need to be some female's usury tool. Because she can use you and dump all over you. Give you a life of hell just for her own wants. Yes. So, you have to be you, Angel. You just be yourself and work on yourself and keep the mentality so the dating scene don't tear you up and find things to keep you busy and be happy. Don't be afraid to speak out about it because nobody should be pushed into being a life of totally alone and not allowed companionship at all because people are so wicked and evil. But we have millions of men all over the world living that because of evil, okay? And that's really what it is. It's because of evil. And it's sad. Well, me and Winston Wu was the last time I talked to him. We had our little fallout because I called Winston out, well, Winston Wu out on not telling men the real cost of going overseas. I called him out on that part because to deceive people to go somewhere that's going to cost upward of $15,000 to $20,000 and not tell them that part to me was wrong. But since that time Winston Wu and I did that interview, I haven't really spoke to him recently at all. I was on Happy Abroad a little bit, but I think Winston's tied up into his own thing. Okay, I have to decline that. Now, I'll add you. So if you're listening, Peter, I'm going to add you again as soon as the red's gone, okay? I gotta wait for that red to disappear. Because otherwise you'll probably have the same problem. So give it a minute. If you still got your meeting on your side, end the meeting that you have going on your side, Peter, or Pete. Once you end that meeting and that red disappears and your little circle goes back to green, I'll add you, okay? I don't want to add you while it's red. Right now it's red because you tried to call me. You should have typed me in the chat box. Because if I answer to you, it'll put the live stream on hold. We'll be in your chat and this one will be on hold. So you got to go to where it says end meeting. If you still see yourself on your cam, end the meeting. There you go. Now I'll invite you. Now you should be able to come in. And hopefully this time you'll have audio. I know he's trying to get in here. There he is. Now let's see if he has audio. Hopefully your mic's working. I don't know what's going on here that his mic ain't working. I'm not really too sure what's going on there. If he rebooted his computer, which I'm sure he did, for whatever reason his mic is not working. So Peter, if you're listening yet, I'm going to give you something. And I'm going to put it in the chat. Okay? The normal chat that we chat on. I'm going to give you some information. You can use your telephone. And you can come in that way. So check your chat box. The one that we typed on yesterday. Now let me know if you see that. It's in the regular chat. There you are, you're typing to me. Just use that. Then you'll come right in. There you go. Now I'll get him in here. He's got a software glitch or something going on with his mic. So we'll go the other route. So I do have two routes in here for people who want to be on the live stream. Well, you know, I can't count on that. I can only wish that it would and do my best. That's why I ordered what I ordered, to see if it'll help with the inflammation. It's supposed to also help clear out the arteries. That would be awesome. If it cleans out arteries for me and helps take away the inflammation, that would be outstanding. I haven't got it yet, but I did a bunch of research on it. It looks promising, and what I was told by Nick, what it's done for his mother, yeah, I'm going to give it a shot. So I did order some of it. I'm going to give it a shot and see what happens. I mean, I get tired of being in pain all the time because of it, so yeah. Now, hopefully Peter there gets the idea and uses his phone, or Pete, and he'll get in here. I'll give him a minute to get here. I ain't no hurry. So anyhow, let's see. Angel, I'm sure happy you showed up again. And as far as Dwayne Holloway goes, yeah, I don't hate the guy. I never have. you know. And I know Steve Hogan don't hate Dwayne. You know, Dwayne has to get through Dwayne's own stuff. I can't do it for him. He has Dwayne should realize he actually had people who would have stood by him in his life. And he threw him under a bus, okay? He's got issues going on over there. And he shouldn't be throwing people under a bus. Because right now, I mean, you know, he's been his own worst enemy for a long time. And man, you can't complain about what's going on in your life when you're going to be your own enemy. I'll always give Dwayne the credit for what Dwayne has done. Dwayne was a really good speaker, Dwayne's TFL, and Dwayne was a damn good researcher. And I won't take that away from Dwayne, ever. Because that is a fact about Dwayne Holloway. He was a damn good researcher. He really was. And a damn good speaker. And he totally understood TFL. But he lives it. Denying what you're living don't make it denying it don't make it go away. I mean, you know, Angel, if you denied TFL, do you think it'd go away? No. Oh my God. He didn't try to call the number with your phone? Or did you find something else out about your cab that you didn't know? Okay, I don't know why you're trying to call in this way because you're still having a glitch. And I don't know what the glitch is because I should be hearing you. And I'm not. I gave you a phone number and a call-in ID number. Dial the phone number, punch in that ID number, and it should bring you straight in. Well, Pete's having all kinds of trouble getting in here today. I really don't know what's going on there. Dave caught in without a problem. He was heard just fine. Okay. Um, our Toronto Force Loneliness man over there, he came in on Zoom just fine. So I don't know what the issue is over on Dave's side. Believe me, if it were on my side, I could end it and restart it, but I'm almost sure it's not on my side because everybody else came in just fine. If you don't get in here today, I'll have to play experiment around. Well, you know, that's the thing, Angel. We got to be here to support each other. And that's really what it is. You know, this is why men need to really get their heads out of their you know what. And they need to start standing by each other and supporting each other. I mean, you know, that's really what needs to be happening. That doesn't make somebody gay. These people who say men who support each other are gay, they're the ones that are gay. Because that's a very gay statement. That's completely out to lunch. So, you know, but the reality is I wanted that, and I thank Wolf Martin for that because that statement was so true. Anyone could pretty much be TFL, any man. And any man that thinks they can't be TFL is only lying to themselves. That's all they're doing is lying to themselves. You know, and you can lie to yourself till you're blue in the face. That's not going to make the problem go away. You can turn your head to it, look the other way. You can lie to yourself all you want. And you'll continue to live the problem. You know, I didn't create this problem. It's not Angel's fault he's living this problem. Millions of guys ain't at fault for this. It's what it's been all along, man. The core of NWO is the dating arena. Just like an apple has a core, well, there's the core of NWO, the dating arena. I don't understand why people can't see it. It's just beyond me. I think they don't want to see it. It's what's really going on, most likely. Is they just don't want to see it. Now, I know Pete tried to get in here, and I don't know what's going on. He's disappeared offline again. He's got his phone. He could use his phone. The phone number is not going to show up on this live stream. I gave him the other door in. The same way Dave came in. The same way I'll give to Angel so he can use his phone. And anybody else that wants in his live stream that's real that I know, I'll give the information. If I don't know who you are and you use that email to get on my live stream, you won't get on my live stream because I'll have to talk to you first to know you. Because I won't send you the information. Because I'm not going to pass the information on to a troll. That's how that works. I'll pass it out to people I can trust. That'll be here for the right reason. Well, yeah, if you get a girl that really likes you, that is your choice. Other people's opinion don't mean nothing. You can't let other people's opinion affect you. You know, part of having tough skin is not caring what other people think about you. You have to come to a point where you don't care what other people think about you. When you can actually get to a point where you don't give a shit what other people think about you, this is when you'll become strong. So the only thing I would tell people is simple. We need to be supporting one another and standing by one another rather than fighting one another. One of the biggest problems we have in society is everybody wants to fight one another and everybody wants to judge one another. And you don't have a right to judge somebody else. Nobody has a right to be judging somebody else. Because you don't agree with somebody doesn't mean, oh, well, that means I have to attack them. Because, you know, there ain't no such thing as any friendship or any relationship where people constantly always agree with each other. It just don't happen. It's non-existent. So, you know, well, I guess Pete's not going to make it, man. I was hoping he would. He's still offline. They give him the information, so I don't know what the issue is at this point. Unless my OBS studios decided to mess up. But it's too far into the live stream for me to do anything about that at this point. The only thing I can say is he's tried to call in for whatever reason. People ain't hearing him. I wasn't even hearing him on Zoom myself, so I think the issue's on his side. And I don't know what's going on there. I really don't. I would love to have him in here today, but to Pete, if you're out there, don't give up. I'll get you in here. You have all the information, so I don't know what went wrong. We'll have to talk sometime, man, so if I can straighten it out for you so that you could come in here just fine. Because you should have made it in the day without a problem, so I don't know what the glitch was. Unless for whatever reason your microphone on your camera took a nosedive. Maybe it's a setting, I don't know. I give you the call-in information, but as of yet, you haven't called in with it. And I know that's the correct information. You know, I'm going to look at it right now. Yep, that's the correct information. So Pete got the correct information. I don't know why he didn't make it in. Maybe his phone was getting ready to dead. Who knows? He's on a desktop, man. He should have made it right in. Has to be a setting or something gone. I don't know. Well, that part I would say is correct. We have a lot of evil running this world, that's for sure. And we all sit back and just let it happen. Sad. How we could go decade after decade after decade and never stand up to these people and put a stop to them is just beyond me. Yeah, you gotta check your settings. Why didn't you use your phone, Pete? You dialed that telephone number and then you push it, it'll ask you for an ID number. You dial in the ID number I gave you, and you would have been right in the live stream. It's just one of them things. But Pete, you'll have to check your settings. We'll try to have a phone call on Zoom and make sure we're talking to each other just fine before I bring you in again, okay? But for now, guys, I've been up on this live stream for like 2 hours. Okay, I'm gonna get back up here on live stream probably not tomorrow, the day after, and I'll do another live stream. And Pete, maybe before then, you and I can hook up on Zoom and talk, and we can figure out your settings and figure out what's going on. Okay, so that we're actually talking and I hear you, then I'll get you brought in here. Okay, we got to figure out what the issue is first before I can bring you in. Because you was literally in the live stream, just nobody could hear you. So we have to figure out what the issue is. And you do got the information if you use your telephone. And nobody's going to see your phone number because I set it up that way. Just like what Dave just called in, nobody saw his phone number, and he was on his telephone. That's the information I gave you, Pete, was for the phone. Since you have an issue going on with the PC. But anyhow, I'm going to get on out of here. And until the next one, guys, I hope you all have a good one.